What's happening in Maui, Heidi? Yeah, and any news you'd like to chime in on?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of talk about the market slowing and changing, which it's definitely changed compared to earlier this year. Um, when you really look at the number of sales closing and number of sales going under contract, I mean, it's still pretty consistent with what was going on Maui for the last 10 years. It's just compared to 2021, which was an outlier. I mean, huge number of sales, huge spike. It looks like things are way down. But then if you look from 2010 to 2020, I mean, it's pretty much kind of returning to normal times in a way, if there's something that's normal. Um, Median and average sales prices are up for both condos and homes. Appreciation shows some signs of slowing. Single family homes are still closing at around 99% of their list price, and condominiums are closing a little over asking price, 100.3% of asking price on average. So that's what's going on over here on Maui. Still a pretty robust market, just not quite as intense as we've seen over the past year.
So it's continuing this thing that we've kind of picked up over the past few shows, where the market is slowing, the craziness is out, but the prices are still at the very least stable, certainly not dropped by any significant amount. Dylan, what's the update? What's going on the Big Island, buddy?
I think that was a great point that Heidi made about looking at the historical numbers, right? Because just like interest rates, we as humans, we only remember the last 6 months of our life, right? So we base our entire future off of what happened the last 6 months. And of course, interest rates seem like they're high versus 6 months ago, but the same is true of the real estate market. The real estate market looks like it's in taking a pretty hard downward turn if you put it in context of 6 months ago. But if you look at the last 10 years, there's nothing to be alarmed about. And if you look at the last 10 years for interest rates, there's actually a lot to be happy about because they're still very, very low. But we've definitely seen a quick downward turn in the number of sales on the Big Island. We had, for homes, a year ago, 261 homes sold. This month there was 181, so big drop in the number of sales. The same is true of condos. The same is true of land. But median price is still up from a year ago, and we are seeing that the final list to sold price is falling. So we were at almost 100% final list to sold price a year ago for homes and condos. Condos were over 100%. Both have dipped under 100%. Homes are at 96% now. So, like I've been saying, this is the time as a buyer to be in the market, because you have more inventory coming on the market, way less competition from other buyers, and the interest rates are not forever. So you can always refinance in the future. That shouldn't be a deterrent to buying at the moment. So we're still, at very low levels of inventory, but compared to a year ago, there's a lot more inventory. Almost at 1,900 properties for sale. We were at 1,300 a year ago. But if you look at months of inventory, I mean, it's still only 3.2 months of inventory. So, until we get back to 6 months, it's still a seller's market technically from an inventory standpoint.
All right, so that same trend, and I see Scott smiling. Hey, we got a question in that it's related to our market segment. Krista from San Jose said, "Hey, what areas on Oahu are offering reasonable sale prices? How is the market looking on the Big Island?" Well, Scott, Dylan just gave us the market update on the Big Island. So, Scott, as you kind of go through your market update, just give us a sense of answering Krista's question of what areas on Oahu are offering reasonable sale prices. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, what's the definition of reasonable, right?
There you go. Yeah, according to what?
Yeah, I mean, when you get into reasonable sale home prices, you got to get outside of the urban core, because the urban core is the dense, our more dense, desirable area. The further away you go, so Ewa, Kapolei, Makakilo are going to kind of still give you that urban core effect, but at closeness, but yet get a little more affordable, and the houses get a little newer. Otherwise, you got to get out in the country, North Shore, Leeward Coast, Windward Side, for you to really have that discounted price. But it comes with a commute, and it comes with less resources out that side. So it's a give and take. As far as market goes, I mean, Heidi hit the nail on the head. Last year was an anomaly. So I'll give you this, because this really spells it out. I went and looked back, In July 2019, right before the pandemic, we had 1,621 homes actively for sale on the market, and price went up 5.8%. That's a normal market. I see us going back. This is called, I'm calling it the great normalization. I expect interest rates to start to normalize to historic levels, 7 to 8% range. You know, the market in general starting to get back to normal activity, but we have a problem here, which is inventory. You can't buy what's not for sale. And so there are 1,600 homes basically for sale on the market in 2019 with almost a 6% price appreciation. If you look in April 2005, which is at the height of a big peak, we were 814 homes on the market with a 25% price appreciation. We have right now 625 active homes for sale on Oahu. So way less. So unless, and here's the thing, in January, we started with 425 homes on the market. Now we have 625. Are we adding inventory? Yes, but it's basically at 25 homes a month. That's 3.5 years before we get back to what 2019 numbers are. So there's a problem here with the inventory that's going to restrict any kind of pullback in the market. And if you look on the condo side, it's the same thing. And what does that mean? So right now, what we're seeing is list to sales price ratio. Sellers are getting 101.6% of what they list their home for, more than the sales price. There's 60% of homes are being sold for over asking and 11 days on market on average. So, you know, yes, cooling market, less sales, but there's also less listings coming on. We have an inventory problem, and it's going to keep things strong for a little while. We are heading back to normalization, but man, it may take a year, it may take 2 years to get back to that normalization component.
For perspective, right, this is how insane this is. The Big Island's got like 200,000 people. Oahu's got over 1 million people, and we have the same number of homes for sale. 647 is what we have on the Big Island right now. So
okay, so it's almost like if we could say a few months ago, let's say last year, when things were like just crazy hot, it was like boiling. We're boiling water. Right now, we're just simmering. So yes, it's cooled. It's not boiling. It's just simmering. But you know, it's still there.